It's us, Neff. There we are.
Oh, we're live.
Yes. We are the crash test dummies, and Independent Comics is the car.
So we're not making this out of we're not making it out of this alive, is what you're telling me.
Correct. We never do. Even in books where I'm like, that was cool, you keep telling me no, it's wrong. So,
these poor dummies. Yeah, that's us. You're right.
That is so us. Just look at that. Leaving streaks all over the place.
Are you the passenger or the driver? It's your stream. I'm gonna say you're the driver. I'm just kind of being taken along for the ride.
Yeah, I've got another one with a backseat passenger and showing what happens to it. So anyway, yes, I am working on getting a real intro going and not something just like this. Hey, Mo Biggs, thanks for being here. He's here.
Hey,
Hello, the chat, he says. Let's see. So I have to delete this. I have to click here, remove from studio. Okay, good. Got that. Oh, Neff, how are you doing this weekend?
I'm good. Okay. I muted myself so I could type in the chat. And, I never know whether or not the clacking of the keys is too audible. I've been told that, it's bothersome by some people. And I try not to offend streaming sensibilities.
Like this.
But yeah, I can't hear you typing.
Oh, I've got like layers of I pad up. I use cardboard slats to extend my desk so that I can film my review. Well, here, wait a minute. Make this easier. What do? I do that, and then I do this. So yeah, over here's the little cloth I have in my review background. I just have wood on top of it, but it sits on cardboard mailers I have sticking out to make my desk longer. So anyway, I'm all padded today.
Oh, good. I was going to make a joke about padding, but I don't know. I couldn't make one. I was going to say something like a high school junior or something like that. On the way to cheerleading practice. It wasn't funny, or it was in my head, but it didn't come out that way. So, are we opening mail first, or are we going to talk about books?
Always open mail first, and because I have one, you have one or two. It's up to you. I have more than one. I'm just trying to make their content for the future shows too.
You should open this. I've got no idea what it is.
I don't know where Omarosa was applying that, but I'll put it right on what you just said.
Oh, what did he say?
You said, I'll open this. I don't know what it is.
She said, see, the joke made sense, right? Mm-hmm. I think. No, okay, it didn't make sense. But but still, my Lumix is not set up. Give me 2 seconds here. I thought I set it up correctly, but I didn't.
You're embarrassing me in front of strangers.
Set.
Mo, I have an example book for later. Okay, I'm going to be showing something about binding with this. We're not looking at it as manga. We're just looking at it as how printers should be doing things. Please don't be angry with us, okay? And
what's see. This we? We? You got a mouse in your pocket?
Yes.
All right. There
okay. Cool. Here we go. All right. So
Nora's Saga from a review that I just did with Adam.
And I do that.
Yeah. Look at all of the stickies. Look at them all.
What the heck?
You know what stickies mean.
Yeah.
All right. We have got something pink and bubblicious. Bubblerific.
It's gum.
If only they crowdfunded gum. I don't know if we could get away with that. Shipping it internationally. It's a nice mailer, though. So, what do we have? Oh, we have a mailer inside the mailer.
Oh, cool.
A cute little bag. Look at the cute little bag.
It's a shopping bag.
Yeah.
Omarosa, you may have just alienated Mo. Mo is a no manga, no anime guy.
This says,
I'm not a
thank
weeb.
You. I hope you like my works, and the extra gift I've enclosed with love. It's no lie that your support is very important to my growth. And it's this cute little fairy. I'm not sure. I don't even know what this is, bro. I have
I
no
hope
idea.
that's not media mail because you're not allowed to send love in the mail. Media mail.
You can't set up in media mail. It's taxed. You have to sit at first class flat rate, right?
Yeah.
Let me
Not
see.
across state lines. It's illegal.
Okay, we've got something with Spider-Man on it. I don't know what it is. Little Spider-Man guy here. It says Fang Art Comics Illustrations Pinups Commissions. So this is from Yili Fang. I guess it's the person that made this. It's a Merry Christmas card. That's awesome. From
How long have you
Optimus Prime.
How long
That's
has this
so
been
cool.
in the deck?
I don't know, man. Probably since Christmas.
But I'm
I
sorry.
mean, Christmas isn't that long ago. It's what, like 2 weeks?
Oh yeah,
2-ish, 3 weeks. I don't know.
I live in a time warp, but yeah, that is really cool. I love Optimus.
Yeah, me too. It's not a card though. It's more like a Optimus Christmas postcard because it doesn't actually fold.
Careful! Don't cut the book.
I hope this isn't the book.
That's a
It
book.
looked like this has a sticker holding something shut, but it's not. Okay, there we go. So you know how my opening my package was like an intelligence test for people, right? I don't even know what's going on here. Okay. All right. Oh, that's why. It's not a box. It's an inside out priority mailer.
It's a wrapper.
It's an inside out priority mailer. No, it's legitimately not a wrapper. It's a box that was cooked inside out. See, mailing box.
They hate it when you do stuff like that. So, oh my,
it's actually kind of pretty. I forget. I remember vaguely someone coming on my show with a book that they had to talk about that book, but they were also promoting this because it hadn't received a whole lot of backers, and it was by, I think, the artist or the colorist who had done the book that was being promoted. So I can go back and look to see what random connections there are between this book and something else. This definitely looks like something Mo would read. Absolutely Mo's kind of book here. It even opens, from the wrong side.
Oh, the degenerate direction. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure actually. I don't know if this is the front or if this is the front. There's really no way to be sure, right? No, it's probably opens like a regular. Oh, look, they put a little sketch inside, a little head sketch. How nice.
Those little sweethearts.
Yeah.
So is this one of Frequency Girls' books that you're opening?
No, I think I backed it. I do recall backing it. But it was like I'm backing this to back the thing to support the thing that didn't have enough funding. That you came on my show. This person didn't come on my show. A person came on my show promoting their book, and this book was by either their illustrator or their colorist, who had nothing to do with the book that was being promoted on my show. But the guy mentioned it, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, that's actually kind of pretty. Like that doesn't look bad at all. If you dig that kind of thing, I'm not saying you should. I know Mo doesn't. Mo would never condone this type of artwork.
You see, when you turn the pages that direction, then by the time we're finished, everyone's alive again.
Because we're going backwards.
Hey, Skip. Thanks for being
We
here.
got Skip Edwards. Awesome. Dude, what's up? Good to hear Skip kicking around.
Skip, as an artist, will hear all of our critique and then know how wrong we are. So he'll learn how to do art wrongly so that we might actually like it.
Yeah. I mean, we could always just tell him how we like art or what we think is wrong with the art or what we think is right with the art. And then Skip can laugh at us and go, haha, those noobs, they don't know anything. They not care what we think. Then we got this last bit here. It is also in one of these weird little sticky envelope things. This does look like it's a card. Pretty card with a little butterfly sticker on it. I think that's, a motif with this book. It's the butterfly sticker. I'm totally gonna rip this if I try and open it.
Use the knife.
I want the knife. It is I guess it's the cover and the back cover.
Okay, art cards.
That's what it is.
Yes,
tiny little art cards.
When I ordered a small manga from Japan, like to get the DVD that came with it, they wrapped it in just tissue paper, just a simple, like how you'd normally wrap a Christmas gift. Everything's very much like that little white envelope you just pulled out of the clear packet thingy. So yes, it's all it's all to what do you call it? Motif.
So they just wrapped it in tissue paper and mailed it to you?
Oh no, inside the box, the item itself had a layer of paper around it. So cool. Okay, that was all very pretty.
I'm a fan of putting wrapping paper around books. Makes it look somewhat professionally done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is Butterfly Tears. And while you look up, or while you do what you're going to do, I'm going to look up where this flipping came from so I can share out some of the information.
Make sure this doesn't fall off the edge here. Hey, Mo. Hey, Corey. How you doing? Corey is here. Corey says, hi, everyone. And hi to everyone. There we go. Let's see. What have I got? So in my tweet announcing this, I said, everyone must get stone. Stone. There we go. My puns are wonderful.
So that looks like something from Luke. Is it hybrids? Is it Riff Riders?
I don't know. It could be anything. It needs oil. So I need a smaller one. See, I'm glad you're here tonight. You almost weren't, because see how I know where to put the knife when I can actually see through the tape? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Never going to let that go. Just so you know. Okay. Where is... Wrong way. Damn it. I can't see through the tape. Hey, Lion Ratten.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. Yeah.
Why do you do this to me, Luke? Now, Luke, now he's moving, so he's really busy now because he found.
That must be what it is. Yeah, it's like too busy to put tape on a box.
No, that's not what I meant. I keep inviting him every week because he has an enormous stack of boxes he's never unpacked ever since he was in a coma, and so it's like, well, you're welcome to come on the show, et cetera, et cetera, and so he just hasn't been able to make it, and now he's super busy. Oh my goodness, Luke, I can't see where to put the knife.
That's what she said. Doesn't really make that much sense.
Don't worry, I'm sure Luke will come soon enough. Well, Luke will soon enough come out with his own alternative line of box cutters for these types of streams. Oh my god. For anyone who doesn't understand the joke, Luke is trying to start his own crowdfunding site to help out a whole bunch of independent comic people as an alternative to Indiegogo and Kickstarter, because those aren't singularly focused on comics. There we go.
There it is. I found it. It was on Kickstarter.
Okay, good. Nothing
From
identifiable.
Fang. The creator was Fang.
Fang. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how do I do this? Make big, trade places. There we go. So it's a hybrids thing. Tiny little shiny sticker. Set aside. Don't spill my water. Yeah, it's all reflecty and stuff. It's the same artwork as this limited one here. And if that wasn't reflecty enough, there's a giant metal version of it. So if this guy is supposed to be 6'4", then what does that say about this dude?
He's bigger than 6'4". There
you go. And that is how I passed 6th grade math. I'm going to set that aside. Oh, speaking of which, one of my training partners has returned. His work schedule changed again, so he's back at jiu-jitsu. The dude
nice.
Yeah, and Omarosa knows the story, but the dude is 6'5". I remember his first day over a year ago, and he was there for like 2 months, and then his work schedule changed. And because of his prior training, not in a martial art, but for something else, he knew how to, take a person down. And but of course, if it's your first day, you don't start standing, and in some classes we don't start standing. So I didn't know how tall he was because I walked in the class, and he was sitting on the floor, and sometimes you just can't tell. So here is
That's the
that.
black cover. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have that one.
So we see goggles, glasses, and yeah, that is upside right. So the Killing Fields Part 4. I'm looking in my camera to make sure it's legible. Ooh, I need to do everybody a little bit of respect here. Double check my camera settings. Yep. There. Hopefully that's sharper. Hopefully that's better. So Killing Fields Part 4.
I can't keep track of how many hybrids there are. Luke also has a habit of like rerunning hybrids like books from that were previously crowdfunded. So I don't know how many books are out. I have that cover on the left. I do not have that cover on the right. Well, yeah, that one. Yes, I have the wolf guy. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I don't have the one.
Rascal. This is Rascal.
Rascal. Okay.
So
I think the last one that I got had the archer that could clone himself as one of like the special mini comics.
Him. Yeah, that was an Ashcan. These are the remastered editions of the floppies 1 through 5. So Killing Fields is a new story arc, and Trash Day was the first story
Trash
arc.
Day, right? Trash Day was the first one.
Yeah. So the number is right up here. It's number 9. You can't see it in the glare, but this is number 9. So that's how many there are total. And then
but he also did like a collected trade, didn't he?
Yeah, that was Trash Day 1 through.
Didn't he do a collected 1 through something of Killing Fields, like a collected the Killing Fields?
No, what you're thinking of is he put out another campaign. I'm double checking the backs of these, just make sure nothing's tucked in there. Okay, cool. I'm supposed to have a metal print of this, but there was a slight error, and it's coming to me in a different package. So I just had to think about that. It's like, right, okay. No, he put out a trade paperback of 1 through 5, and then later did a remastered of everything. And I got to figure
1 through 5 of Trash Day or 1 through 5 of Killing Field?
1 through 5 of Trash Day.
Okay.
Because that's literally 1 through 5 of the series. Killing Fields is 6 through whatever.
Yeah, okay.
It's just the second arc. So you got number 9 written up here in the corner the way it should be. And are those two dudes, shirtless dudes, holding hands? Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, they're a happy couple.
Yeah. There we go. Right there. Well, I think they're trying to. This just looks like really badly timed hand holding. So, alrighty. Got that. Anyway, yeah, so he's got a trade paperback, and then he nixed that and redid a remastered version of the trade paperback, which you can still get almost anywhere he is.
A complete saga. That was the last thing that he did.
You're thinking of the title of the campaign.
Yeah.
They're all just in there. Yeah, they are just. I just read Holding Hands. I was gonna say they're just holding hands. That's just the title of the campaign. It's not a trade paperback, is what I've been trying to work my way to.
Right.
Sorry, I'm trying to think, move books, and talk at the same time, and it is not working. It took forever.
Dude, if we threw chewed gum in there, I think
I'd pass out.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see it now. There's the Trash Day collected anthology. Well, it's not an anthology. The trade of 1 through 5, issues 1 through 5 of Trash Day, and there are the other individual issues of Hybrids. That makes it the complete saga. Now I understand.
Is it 6 through 9, and then he'll probably have another trade paperback of Killing Fields.
So what confused me was he has the Killing Fields Part 1 and 2. Then he has Hybrids, the Killing Fields Part 1 through 3. Hybrids, Killing Field Part 1. So it's every time he releases a new issue, he does a new campaign, but it includes the parts, part 1 through or whatever, I guess, because there's a catch-up tier.
Which causes a little confusion.
Then there was the graphic novel for Hybrid Son of the Gods Trash Day. Then there was Hybrid Son of the Gods, the complete first arc, and I assume that that's the the complete first arc was Trash Day, right? No, it wasn't. It's got something else. It's got that demon guy on the cover.
Mhm.
Oh no, it is. It's Trash Day, Sons of the Gods, Trash Day, full color, standard size comics spanning a 5-issue miniseries. So those were for the floppies. And he's got Sons of the Gods number 4, 3, 2, and 1 for the individual comics on Trash Day, right? Yeah. Oh, 3. He didn't do 2 and 1. He did 2 and 1 elsewhere. Okay, so he's done 9 campaigns, with the last one being this that you've got right there, the Complete Saga, and then Rift Riders.
Yeah, let's see if I can see this quick enough. I probably can't. Show people what we're talking about. I will.
I've got it right here.
You got the link?
Yeah. Just
post the link in
here.
the
Hold on,
chat
I'll present
to the campaign.
I'll just share my screen here.
Okay. Waiting for it.
Boom. Right there. There it is. So this is Luke Stone, as you can see, Luke Stone. So I looked him up to see what campaigns he's done. And so this was the one that you're talking about now, the Complete Saga, right? And then there's Rift Riders, the one he did with Piper. And then starting at the beginning of what he did Sons of the Gods 3, Sons of the Gods 4. So those are 2 comics from the first arc, Trash Day, Sons of the Gods, right? There's Sons of the Gods, the complete first arc, which are the 5 issues 1 through 5 in floppy form. Then there's Sons of the Gods Trash Day graphic novel, which is 1 through 5 in a trade paperback form. Then there's Killing Fields 1, Killing Fields 1 and 2, Killing Fields 1, 2, and 3, and then Killing Fields the Complete Saga.
Right, because Rift Riders is a different title and has nothing to do with
different. Right. Well, I mean, but these are just the campaigns that he's done, which is, I was looking up his page, which means that the Complete Saga for Killing Field, the Killing Field is now over. The that arc is finished.
Not until I read it, then it's finished.
It's not until you read. Okay, that's fair. But this is the cover that you got, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 4 covers that were available.
Okay, Luke is a friend, and for very few people do I ever do the multi-cover thing anymore. It used to be I'll be charitable, and because people's floppies would be kind of cheap, and I'd be charitable and say I'm going to help somebody get their campaign going or something like that. And okay, he's going anyway. But Luke being a friend, I do support him a bit more than others, and that's why I've got the multiple covers. So I also want to point out Preston Acevedo, really good artist, and he did this cover. Now, can I unshare you, or there we go.
Yes, you can unshare me. I mean, you could also just look at the there it is, right?
Yeah. So that's Preston Acevedo's work. We really like him. Notice that this outfit is a bit like early 90s X-Men. That's deliberate. Even though the color symbolism is for a hero, and Rascal is not a hero. But look, Acevedo does a lot of good horror stuff. Anyway, what else we got?
He did Cryptic Legends, the Mothman too. He did a cover for that. I have a cover by him on Mavericks.
Oh yeah, I should read this out loud. Hybrids, everybody's probably read it by now. Hybrids was originally going to be a story of GoBot-like electric motor scooters, and Rascal was still one of the characters. We're going to move on. Thanks, Mo.
See, this is my Trash Man figure. This is Trash Man.
Cool. I gotta make you big.
That's the guy from the main character of Trash Day. We did a figure in his big collected tier for the campaign. He only did 20 of them. This was number 8, and the box kind of fell open when I got it, and he fell on the floor and broke into a million pieces.
Oh no!
I had to strategically reconstruct him with green stuff and crazy glue and some skin tone paint.
Oy.
And even now, the thing still doesn't shut. But he's a limited edition.
If I was going to do multiple covers for Luke, the one thing I could not do was action figures. All right, what do we mean?
It's hard to do action figures the right way.
Oh my gosh, Luke is so humble. He named his self-insert character Trash Man. That's right. Yeah. Luke is 6'4". I forgot that, and so is his character. We knew about this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
What
he's
do you?
also like absolutely on the Sigma male grind set because like the really hot chick flirts with him and he's like, I don't understand. You know, I'm not ready for a relationship. He's too busy being a superhero. It's great.
By the way, even though I like was it 6 a.m. comics characters, this is not 6 a.m. comics. This is just chibi style that Luke did, and because it's chibi, that means that Mo's
Mo
gonna
hates it.
absolutely hate it. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, how you doing, Frog G?
What's up, Frog?
Thank you. Everybody click the like, subscribe, because I always forget to tell people subscribe to me. Oh boy. Anyway, do you want to do another one, or do you want to move on to that book?
I think I got something from Marcus DeJesu. And
All
I've got, it looks like some original art here. And then I got 3 packages. One of them is from Tyler, so it's probably Girl with the Mega Fists Volume 2. It's this one. And then I got something from Lesser Known Comics, and I got something from Michael Shea. Whichever you want me to open. I'm pretty sure the Marcus DeJesu is a T-shirt, so there's really nothing that exciting to talk about.
All right.
Say,
Do what's oldest.
they're all old. They're all like me,
They're all
old and dusty.
You're getting Christmas
Old
cards in
and
all of these.
It's 2. I got 2 things from Wolfpack, and they're both probably T-shirts.
Oh, hey, is that City Adjust or
Justice
City Chronicles? Yeah.
It's actually a nice heather, soft, very good. Right? It says Wolfpack, and then on the back, this is why Marcus never listens to anything I have to say as far as constructive criticism. Want to read it out?
A wolf doesn't concern himself with the opinions of the sheep.
See,
Mm-hmm.
we're all sheep. We're all sheep compared to the wolves.
Yeah.
Those Wolfpack guys. I'm only gonna open the one. Obviously,
He pays you to be a
2
wolf
t-shirts
and then
in
treats you like a sheep. I can't that.
Well, I mean, I paid to be treated like a wolf on that campaign. So, yeah, I got some original art and Mike Shea's. We'll save Mike Shea. We'll open this. We'll open Mike Shea after you open yours. What is this? Let's find out.
I don't know who Heather Gray is, but apparently she's quite soft.
You goofball. All right. It's a piece of wood. I got a piece of wood here.
Okay.
It's not a piece of wood. It's this.
Dude. Is it?
Do you know what
Is
this
it upside
is?
down? That's
Do you know
better,
what this
I
is?
think. We're looking down at 2 people. What is that?
I think it's original page from Ichabod.
Oh,
Ichabod Jones,
no.
Monster Hunter. I think.
I'm thinking
Is it
Icarus, not
Russell?
Ichabod.
Is it Russell? Yeah, it's Russell Nolte. So this is a page from Ichabod Jones, which is a graphic novel series that Russell Nolte did. It funded very successfully. It just did its last issue. It's several issues long, and it has numerous. They're all graphic novels, so I think it's all going to get compiled into a big badass trade. Ichabod has a lot of fans. It's probably that and Katrina Hates Dead Shit are his two really that good series. He's also an author, like a legitimate author of prose and books and shit, right? So like he has other sci-fi series or fantasy series that I haven't read. I've read his comics and stuff. So
Okay.
You're up, Blue. What you got?
Oh, unpack. I wasn't gonna unpack another because I have only 3 waiting.
All right. Well, I'll do one more then. I'll do one more.
Really? Don't deplete yourself.
I got 2 more here, and I know I've got 2 upstairs that I haven't even brought downstairs.
Okay. Get some Gatorade or something. Don't wear yourself out.
Alrighty. This is from Michael Shea, as I said earlier. And we are looking at Miskatonic High. This is something I'm supposed to review with Adam. I think this is the first trade, yeah. volume 1. And then this is the Legions of Innsmouth. So this is a separate book. I don't even remember ordering this one.
Would that? Oh, you got Miskatonic. I missed out on that one. It was a timing thing.
Yeah. So it's like high school with Elder Gods, right? It's like Cthulhu High.
Mm-hmm.
Paranormal setting, right? The art isn't bad at all.
No. I did totally miss out on this one twice.
Yeah, it's had several different uh-oh. I did it again.
What? Do you tear a page?
Again.
Oh, dude.
I did it again. Uh-oh. Let's try to get a look at the, uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Uh-oh. I'm so used to these sturdy bindings, like the one on Arc Athena, which is sewn in. It's just sturdy binding. I'm used to these sturdier books. I really can't deal with these incredibly frail and fragile bindings that you can't open up. But yeah, this looks like really big. That's what I have to say. That's really big. I don't know why you guys make me read stuff. Freak says, what did you say? I don't remember you doing something.
I don't remember ordering the second book
either. This one, The Legacy of Innsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be allowed to touch any books anymore. Well, that means that you're going to have to turn all the pages for me, or I'm no longer going to be reading books. Either way, I win. Either way, I don't have to read all of this. Oh. Why can't I just look at the picture? Why does it have to be written in tiny little annoying? Can you see? You can't even see. Hold on. The size of this font and the stylized nature of it. Here, we're gonna refocus. Ready?
Oh, there we go. The white letters kept wiggling and getting blurry. All right, kept the name. You're moving even as they pushed the Algonquins, the white settlers. Even
whatever. Okay. Here's the point. That is all. That is all over this page. This page there's a lot of words. Why do I have to read all these? You said there'd be no reading. It was comics. You said comics, not novels. It looks like they did up the dialogue. I thought you
focus. Stick your hand there. I think they're okay. Never mind.
It looks like they did up the word count and the amount of word balloons that the book has in general. Here, although there are still some nice pages.
It's funny. We buy books and then complain about having to read them. Why?
But that's the whole point of comics. The whole point of comics is that there's a nice balance between visual and literary, right? Like you can enjoy the story through words and images rather than just words, and it's not like a silent film. It bridges the medium between literature and cinema, right? That's kind of like one way of looking at it. Some people can see like you read a comic, you look at the pictures. I find that look, it's like for me, it's like trying to watch a show with subtitles, right? I don't like subtitles. I don't like watching foreign films and trying to read the subtitles because I miss the image for want of seeing the text. I'm focusing on reading the words and I'm missing the view of what I should be able to be enjoying and taking in with my eyes. That's the thing that books don't have, that beautiful picture, right? Books don't have that. It has just a lot of words. So if I'm focusing on reading the words and I'm not able to just appreciate the art in an even, a nice balance, then just write a book, man.
Yeah, true.
You weren't going to open something. Are you opening something now?
I kind of changed my mind. Okay, this is from Bold Cat Studios, and I have for the third time forgotten who that is, and I didn't look it up before, and there's the knife. And so instead of looking it up now, this is probably something experimental and embarrassing. There we go. There's one. as I damage the contents inside. Let's go this way.
What you got there? I'm gonna check in on the chat. Skip says Neff should have grabbed that Gatorade instead. Shaking my head. Neff in the comics doghouse. He's too rough. Good job, Frog G. Corey says I like pictures in comics too. You got a cardboard box.
I got a card. Look, it's cardboard. I love cardboard. Okay, I remember this. This was giving someone a chance as a writer, even though I'm not so sure the art was all that up to snuff. In fact, it's beginner art. You know, I don't mean to be cruel or mean or rude, but Crypts and Legends is the book. It's a very unknown, low, barely noticed book. Don't expect lots of things from this, but for some reason the covers are shiny. Here we go. Now, you're going to yell at me when you see the campaign. You're going to be like, why'd you back that? Because I thought the story looked interesting, but I know that the art leaves a bit to be desired. So it's one of these, like, I'm going to back this with expectations that I think I already see a little improvement.
Oh, but it's shiny.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh, it's shiny. Yeah. See, now that's the wrapper. Yeah. Let's get inside.
Shiny. They sold me already. It's sparkly.
See, I'm not the only one. Ha! Oh, dude, he signed it on the back. Neat.
Lynn Ratton.
Lion.
I can barely see. Also backed Crypts and Legends. Lion, have you had a chance to read it yet? Throw your thoughts into the chat if you have. Also, Mo says he considered making ARO a novel, but he wouldn't want to deny any supremely talented artists the right to earn some exposure. In case y'all didn't know, Mo pays for everything with Mo exposure. It is a currency. It will never devalue. It is stable. It is a stable currency. It's definitely
let's see what we got. Very kind, Mo. I appreciate you always looking out for people. Sometimes it feels like a curse. Ripping on Bancroft because he deserves it, and we all like the sparkly. Okay, this is where paneling can go wrong. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the detail, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
11,
1 to
like right.
Yeah, 10 panels and 1 to 2 captions per panel, and that's the only long one. Changing font sizes is not a good move, but I got this to see how the writing was, not because I could already see the art on the campaign and say, yeah, okay, this is beginner stuff, not a big deal. So, oh look.
So I like making sure that I don't have more than a statement, a response, and a retort in any one given panel. So if there's a long conversation going on, I might be inclined to break up my page into multiple panels to get people to converse. There's a good example in Mavericks of a scene where Jack and Harrison are talking over a cup of coffee, and there are a lot of panels on the page. We break it down to give different perspectives, to vary the distance from the camera, to give people something interesting to look at while you're reading this, conversation. I also try not to make more than like 20 words per word balloon, because anything else becomes cumbersome and your eyes just kind of glaze over as look at all the words. 20 to 20, anything like 18 to 23 is like the right amount. Going over that is just too much. So it looks there like all of those bubbles are good size.
Yeah.
The lettering leaves a lot to be desired. But
this one has a couple extra for one panel, but then these are all one each.
Right. I would prefer to have made that 3 sequence there, man, woman, man, one panel, and make it them. You can see the entire figure head to toe, because a lot of this is like, it's, shoulders and up, shoulders and up, shoulders and up. And again, on the next row, we want to vary the character. The staging in the panel is important. Vary the distance that the character is from the observer. Give us a full body shot. Give us a long panel. give us some interesting perspectives, so that we're not just looking at a boring 9 grid of face, 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 face. There was actually an X-Men book that Garrett and I used as a way to dissect boring storytelling. I will actually find that image and send it to you right now.
Now, if this
is
a kid, like Lion Ratton says, if he's younger, if I remember correctly, I think he's younger. If I'm mistaken, fine. But giving somebody a first chance, is in my mind the implication of I expect you to improve.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially for artists, if they don't get work, they have nothing, don't have much reason to practice, and it becomes a discouragement thing. So look at Noah, who did the Mavericks book.
Yeah.
He was improving. Of course, now he's like going the wrong direction. His grass, when he draws grass, it's getting worse. Like it was good for a while. Yeah, they showed it on Shelby's stream, and it was hilarious. But anyway, there's another kid.
Idea.
Jesse Marsh is a kid I bought some originals from, just a Batman and a Spider-Man, because he had improved a bit, did those, improved a little bit more, so I bought those, even though he's been still improving. But yeah, this guy did everything himself. That'd be Stephen B back here, the signature, and he's in his early 20s. Says Lion Ratton. Cool. Thanks for the info.
Noah's really young. He's not even 20 yet.
I think he might be 18 now.
Yeah,
I don't know his actual birthday.
17, 18 in there, right? We bully him, but he's like a teenager. So
he's kind of getting a little
he's an alpha Chad. He's an alpha giga Chad. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't understand the bully back anymore. It's like, dude,
hard to bully him now. He's toughened up quite a bit. He takes it all very much in stride. I think Mo has desensitized him to some of the hazing. So now he's just he's an alpha giga Chad.
Okay, I haven't seen Jesse Marsh's artwork in at least a year, maybe a year and a half. I don't know what Mo is worried about. Anyway, so yeah, I've encouraged people. So yeah, I want to see how well this is written. I thought the concept is okay. I'm not going to read it to you because you'll scold me for it. So anyway,
so I'm gonna send you 3 images real quick.
Okay. Well, I slide this back in its crypt. There we go. Crypts and Legends. Get it? Because I'm not funny.
I do.
What are you sending? What do we got?
On Twitter, I'm going to send you 3 images, and you can put them up on the screen. That way, you will understand what I'm talking about. Took me a second to find these in my. You can put them one after another. You can scroll through them if you want. But this was from an X-Men comic, recent. I think it was last year. And it's X-Men go to Krakoa. It's like the council of whatever on Krakoa, and they're talking. So if you open up your Twitter DM and you just share screen with them, the DM that you and I have, just don't dox any of our private conversations where
I have ways. Yeah.
But yeah, this is incredibly boring. The reason for it being incredibly boring is it's going to be pretty obvious, but especially the very first panel where Storm is talking, like, as you can see. So they try and vary the staging a little bit, right, with Mystique's face and the other kid's face, being closer, and then at the bottom you have like Charles and Magneto in the empty chair, kind of give this idea of the panorama, right? But look at the amount of text in Storm's bubble. It says, a few who entered the tournament were from there, but most were old enough to come from the islands when they were on. So that first bubble has 24 words in it, right? Then it's shameful, but this is really the first chance we've had to engage our long-lost brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's why you're reading weird. You're counting. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So right there, I mean, that's a lot of text in one panel, right? If you move to the next one, the next page is literally just the next page. You're going to see one after another after another. It is just a 9 grid of people from the shoulders up or some variation with a conversation going on. And it is 3 pages of this shit back to back. And this is why Marvel is boring. Forget social justice, forget the agenda, forget any of that. It is boring to look at. This is X-Men. I don't remember X-Men being this lame. Did you know what I mean?
The worst X-Men I remember from the early 90s, I remember laying on my parents' couch at Christmas break reading this, was like page 3, which we'll get into the book that we're going to look at in a minute. But page 3 would always be the giant full team shot where there's supposed to be a bunch of action all at once. One single panel covers the whole page, and there are 2 paragraphs down the side of it. That's the worst X-Men ever was back then. And I was going,
and 2 paragraphs, exactly.
This is one person talking in 2 paragraphs. You can't have this much action with that much dialogue. That was my biggest criticism of it.
Well, fights that have monologues in the middle of them. That's always felt unrealistic and contrived to me. But this, with the grid, right? Just 9 panels, all of them, some variation on themselves. You see that one down in the lower left, you're getting the head to toe shot, right? Of the staging there.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least something to break up the monotony of these panels. Mm-hmm. But the point that I was trying to make is earlier that one page that we had in the book that you were showing was face, face, face. And then on the next line, it was face. It's you could just make those 3 panels into one panel with the 2 characters standing there conversing. You have a bubble, 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 right? You can string the 3 together that would work. It's those kinds of attention to detail that make a book good or mm-hmm. not as well thought through. But I appreciate what you're saying. The guy is young, right?
Yeah. And it's his first outing. Even if he were 16 like Noah when Noah started, or if he were 30, it's still the first outing. How far along has he gotten? Let's see what's going on here. Wait for it to pop up in my interface. Okay, the page panel, that page layout looks boring. Yes. And I haven't been this bored since last night's Michael T stream where they spent half an hour explaining the origins of Critical Role just to get their point about Wizards of the Coast being woke. Okay.
I like Mo's earlier comment. Neff is sending Blue 3 images. Blue has to pick all the ones that are motorcycles to prove he's not a robot.
As often as I have to do that. Anyway,
we're boring the crap out of Mo. So why don't we move on to roasting? Talking about a book.
Okay, then I'm going to talk about a book we got into some weeks ago, which was oh gosh, what was her name? Tragedy. You remember how you pointed out to me they're going on a date and they're eating, and this is more like eating and talking over eating. It didn't dawn on me right away because I was just following what they're saying. And to me, the whole scene was she gets to not have to be engaged in battle, secret agent stuff for a while. She gets to be a real human, and she probably enjoys that. So, but and I was like, oh yeah, this is just a date talking over food where any meaningful conversation between characters has to happen over food. And there are 2 things going on. One, it is a waste, just like this version of 9 panel grid with just faces and having, so you could be doing other visual storytelling in the meantime. That's problem number 1. And if a meal isn't enough visual storytelling, and then 2, you said you give so many words per balloon, so many balloons per panel, like a comment retort or a comment reply retort. And then
at most,
and then so many panels per page. Well, that limits your number of words per page. So with dialogue having a purpose, you have to have your dialogue fill that purpose in only so many words and then put them on one page. And,
that's comics writing, baby. It's called editing your stuff down so it's potent and it's impactful. That's why I'm like, why is there so much reading? Why?
You could
always
accomplish
objecting to reading these freaking paragraphs and boxes all over the place.
Yes, and you could accomplish showing me that they're on a date in one page, including going somewhere else for dessert. Seriously, trim all that down and then use the other pages for visual storytelling. So let's. Oops, I almost kicked you out.
I want to see Tragedy go on a date to the beach, so I can see her in a bikini and watch them holding hands and find Waldo in the background. And I want something to look at. And that's one of the reasons that I don't like all of the, no offense to the women, hardworking women in comics, but there is a joke. It's not really a joke. There is an observation that the majority of female conversations transpire over food. Because if you want to talk about something, you need to have panels, right, for the dialogue to be presented. And so what they do a lot of the time is they just talk over a meal. Conversations happen around a table. But give me something to look at instead of just being sedentary and, you know, playing with your fork. Most of the time, I don't even get to watch them really eat. It's just the setting is food.
But if then we're left with, they don't want to write comics, they want to write sitcoms, they don't meet that exceedingly low bar of ability to write sitcoms. But this is why we end up with action scenes that have impossible dialogue in them. You can't you can't have that much dialogue in there, and it's like, well, too bad. We have to put up with something.
I would rather have an action scene with Brian Michael Bendis bubbles than another couple of pages of women sitting around a table talking about stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so you ready?
Okay, yeah. So we are going to be talking about Arc Athena tonight. First thing I want to mention, I really love the spot gloss on the cover. You know, spot gloss is some of my favorite touches, you know, like details to put on a cover like this. And I think Eric really nailed it with the soft touch.
Speaking of touches, I should be careful where I touch the cover. But yes.
The soft touch lamination and the spot gloss UV provides a very nice tactile contrast. I did the very similar thing with Mavericks. We had a slightly different soft touch lamination, but I really dig it. One thing I was kind of, I don't know, on the hardcover. I didn't think that something this size necessarily needed to be hardcover, but that's me nitpicking the principal format of the book. Also, it is a comic book sized hardcover book, right? And most of the hardcovers that I've seen have been slightly larger,
right?
More like magazine size. So this was interesting. This very well easily could have been a perfect bound paperback.
And I think it should have been a staple bound floppy, but then you cut out all the extras in the back.
Well,
also,
you would need to cut out the additional material in the back, which you could do. I love additional material, as is evident by my own book.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's got 12 pages of bonus content in the back of Arc Athena, and he's got it's got to be 40 something pages of main story content. I think we could look up the campaign and see which one the total page count is.
It's 48. I counted before, and if I'm wrong, it's 49 because there's one extra.
Okay, so 49 with 12, right? So that's 25% of the slightly less than 25% additional content, right? If it's 48 pages and you throw in 12 additional of bonus content, right? Because it's 49 story and then 12 is what you're saying, right?
And every page, the page count usually, if you're talking story page count and you're thinking 60, it's actually going to be 64 because printing signatures are always multiples of 16.
Yes. Well, yes. I mean, anything is a multiple of 4 because you need front and back. You can do any even number. Once you get to perfect binding, you don't need to adhere to that rule of 16s.
Right.
Once you get to a square binding, you
cut off all the folds anyway. So.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so I wanted to give this book a fair shake, and I kept falling asleep while reading it because I read at night. So I had to stop doing that because I was getting confused. And I was getting I read this page and then this page, and I fell asleep here. Or no, I fell asleep on page 4. Then I came back and I had to read this again, and I got to here and I fell asleep. So I backtracked a little bit more, read again. I got to here and I fell asleep.
That's like 3 pages. Come on now.
Yeah, I fell asleep trying to figure this page out. I backtracked to the helicopter again and then got to here, but no. I remember that. And then I got past this. This looks like an interior cover. Anyway, it's just a shot. Could not tell if this was supposed to be a double page spread until I noticed the color right there. So 2 bleed pages next to each other doesn't always work. It looks like a double page spread up here, but it's not one. And then I fell asleep. So I wanted to give it a fair shake because I was totally confused about what the heck
you're
does
right.
Arc.
It's not like a full bleed 2-page spread with panels down the
Nope.
side. I
These
thought
are
it
2
was
separate pages.
I didn't read it at all that way. I read it as a splash page.
Yeah, and so I wanted to give it a fair shake. I brewed myself some tea like a civilized person, an adult man in England, and I started over again. And it says right at the front, at the top, what Arc is. So I'm like, oh, the thing I didn't remember because I kept falling asleep. So we start with some dude with glasses saying, "Hello and welcome to our production. I am Jan Ulin, founder and head of Arc, the world leader in tech services, products, and media." So that becomes germane to everything that's going on after this. So now I'm not confused. Arc
Can
is
we
the brand
before we
name.
go on,
Yeah.
just talk about the composition on the page? I think this is a very successful page.
Okay.
A great way to introduce the book. You've got that one dude talking, the guy who's head of Arc talking.
Mhm.
And we pull out, we show him standing amidst a group of reporters or people who are recording. I don't know if those are like live streamers or whatever, people getting them on cell phone. And then we have a very extreme tight close-up on this woman doing her lips, right? And she's not there. The dialogue is disembodied, right? His dialogue is not in that panel. But if you notice, he's also varying the color in the background of the panel, right? So he's doing a palette shift in the line. You've got purple, purple, pink, right?
Yep.
Like that bluish purple, pink, right? So every time that he's showing one of these other background colors, it's someone who's not present for like the main narrative, which I think is pretty smart. If you notice, though, he then gives us a neat little Dutch angle, full body staging, then another close-up, then that bust, right? A really pretty bust at that. Then he gives us a longer panel to vary the diet that we've had, because we've had 3 in a row, and he's breaking that 9-panel grid by giving us one nice fat panel, right? And then the pushed in close-up on this woman that we've been seeing the whole time, going into the page turn of these 2 freaking awesome helicopters.
I
had to say, I really liked how he opened the book. Yes. That was incredibly successful for me. That felt like it was very intelligently done.
Now,
a lot of the panels in here, when he dedicates himself to doing like a clarity focused approach to his storytelling, I feel is incredibly strong.
Yes. When he's clear, he nails it. When he's not clear, he totally lost me, which is one of my problems with the book.
There are some panels that don't hold up. Absolutely. This is like a sequence like this didn't work for me.
No. But this, where we've got these 3 in the disembodied narration, the color palette, there is some similarity to that color palette, but I like how this is clearly and he does a lot of things, visual cues really well at certain points in the book, but then other pages are just totally unclear. I like how he introduces her and then we see her. We know we have an audience before we focus on the audience. And even though this is a mystery woman, that's okay because we know she's a mystery woman. We're not mixing her up with the other woman easily.
Right.
So moving on. I really like how these were done.
Yeah, the helicopters, in my opinion, like when I saw those, I was like, oh, I'm pretty much sold just on that.
Okay, so I tried to read this page over here before you have your connection fit. And
I have a seizure trying to read that page.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's just showing names of different countries or cities to show people around the world are tuning in on their phones. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I have no direction to read with. I'm getting lost. Boom, next page.
There's no flow.
And so
there's no flow. Everything is wasted noise except for that one lower panel, which is the information on the page. How many people are tuning in? This many viewers concurrently. If that had been introduced at the top here, I think that would have served the page much better. Yes. Because we're coming from a page turn of a little thing that's spinning around, right?
Yeah.
Team activate follow cameras. Okay, we're activating our cameras.
And everybody's
all of these different places around the world. Is that where the cameras are? Is that because logically, as far as a closure page turn is concerned.
Mhm.
I'm going from being with the guy who's telling the team to deploy their cameras to suddenly a collage of locations around the world. So my first thought is, oh, okay, these cameras are all over the world.
Which my first thought was as well, was in addition to these little tops, I don't know what the top is, if it, other than follow camera. And before my brain can comprehend that, suddenly, because it takes a moment to sink in, then suddenly everybody's on their cell phones. And then down here, it's Mr. President, you wanted the numbers, how many, and he gives them how many people are watching. It's so many million and climbing are tuning in. Put that up here, and I get the activate follow cameras, and then how many are tuning in, millions, and then we see it. Like
that would have made much more sense.
And even if this mess still continued down here, would have been way better. But there are way better ways to show the world tuning in besides this mess.
Yes, I've been trying to go and find some examples. I think we were talking backstage of comic books that have done collage sequences of things occurring simultaneously in different locations, generally across the world, with little boxes that give the annotation of where the location is, right? There have been, I know I've seen several of them in the comic books that I own. I just haven't like sat down and tried to remember. I know Global Frequency, the series, actually had one, and I know Watchmen had one that dealt with time being like a collage of different simultaneous events. Regardless, the idea is that page could have been much more readable and had a more defined flow than these panels of different sizes kind of seemingly scattered haphazardly across the page with like areas of white, like the gutters exist there. It's not even like a full collage. It's not even like he just threw panels on top of panels on top of panels where they're all overlapping, and it's fully chaotic. You can see panel borders. You can see, there are those white horizontal boxes because those are the edges of the panels, right? So they exist in the collage. And for me, that kind of defeated the purpose of a collage. Like, this shouldn't be here. That all of these little divisions mean that you're trying to read across these borders in a way that there is flow. Don't let me worry about flow. Don't make me feel like I have to read one panel after the other. Eliminate them and just cover the thing with cover the entire page with location panels, if you're going to do it that way, or do something a little bit more organized that has flow.
Yeah. And speaking of panel borders, so these just little white pieces just function as more noise while I'm following green pieces. And this, some of these are so bad. I do want to move on. Here's a girl in here looking at her computer, the back of the computer here, but it's offset by these. I can't even tell that she's looking at a computer. It looks like two different things to me. This looks like two different sub panels to me, but this panel border is not straight. It is slightly diagonal, and it's subtle. I like how using these slightly not square panel borders, I think this one's square, that's not, or maybe they're both not square. It gives the purpose of a camera cant, which is to unconsciously impose a little bit of unease that something wrong is going on. Now, the one thing I like about this book is its social commentary demonstrating a problem without taking certain sides in current politics or anything like that. The social commentary is all of this, is that everybody in the Arc company is focused on, we'll show that in a minute as I critique the next page, which is horrible.
They're like e-celebs.
Yeah, they're all e-celebs. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Now, this page, notice I have opened it a bit. If you can see the little bit of white in there where the stitching is in the middle of this cut where the gutter should be just didn't quite work because I've got it stretched out. It sort of looks okay on my camera, but that's it. There are many pages in this book where he left no room for the gutter. But this page,
feels like he could have given us more time in pre-press, spacing out the center margins.
Yes.
So that those weren't like connecting at the page fold, because you're going to get like a quarter to an eighth to a quarter of an inch, even depending upon the size of the spine of your page, absorbed into the fold of the spine. So moving these, putting a little bit of additional material in and planning for like an eighth of an inch to get eaten up so that your images meet at the fold without having to yank it open the way that I do would have given a better reading experience. But it is a sewn in binding. And I appreciate that, which means you can crank it open. You can lay it flat. I like my sewn in bindings, man. You can really you can beat the crap out of these things.
Now look at this one though, for a square bound. See that little white there?
Yep. That's
how they deal with it. See, pardon the manger here, but I can spread this puppy a bit, and this is one of the ones that goes all the way in, but it's still got a little bit of space in there so that the face on the gate, that the emblem there, doesn't totally get broken up. It's broken up, but there's nothing important in the gutter. And they do the whole book like this, that it looks like these meet in the middle, but if I just go a little, yep, they got a margin down there. And that's what you can see it in that white by the binding. So this is a pre-press issue that on many pages was just not done correctly.
Yeah, just a little bit of pre-planning for that. And honestly, I mean, I don't know. I know Eric Kennedy has got a lot of experience. I don't know how much experience he's got with printing or book design. If he's got a significant amount, then maybe he would have known better. If not, then I can write it off. But we figured out our bindings by buying and reading comics. It's not like a hard science where you have to go to school on this stuff. It's learned by doing and through imitation. We have been neglecting the chat. I do want to turn to Mark. It says, you guys are making good points. Fuck hardcover. And why aren't the pages newsprint? I also didn't appreciate the shipping not being at least $30. Make something, even if it's disgust. In all serious though, my real complaint about this book is that my mail lady probably thinks I'm a weeb now because they ship it to you in a box covered in unrelated weebery. And
like this,
referring to the iconic comics collage on their box that has Common America along with other assorted characters on. I actually think I have one of the boxes unopened over there. I could grab it.
Sure. I have to say things about this page before we go.
Okay.
This isn't a manga. If you want to grab your box, that's cool. But this isn't a manga. Why does it come to my house in a box covered in anime? I skip over those parts with all the superfluous texting and social media posting. Yes, I had to too, because it was poking me in the eye. This page is just badly laid out. I had trouble reading it, not because of falling asleep, but this label goes with this guy. This label goes with her touching her hair. This label goes with her, even though this label touches her hair. The label touching her hair actually goes with this really tiny woman in the back. This needs to be moved up over here, just to about there. But then it would, not to cover that face. This face is in the gutter, okay? And this label goes with that face. You can't tell who this is while we wait. Like, this should have been a single page. Seriously, just do this on the page. I think there are a few places I'll point out where, if we get that far, I don't know if we'll hit all of them, where this kind of forced perspective thing going on is showing off. As somebody once told me about a different book regarding the artist for that book, is quit showing off it. And the idea was, if it gets in the way of telling the story and a particular panel is done poorly, breaking the panel boundaries or whatnot, great weebery there.
It's actually not that bad. This is a little bit more illustrated than weeberific, but the iconic boxes do usually come with some sort of illustration.
So the layout on this is really difficult to see who's who. There's an extra character back here who doesn't get a label, so you're wondering who he is. Where are my fingers? Where are we? There we go. I'll do that. Yeah, this guy back here doesn't get a label, so you wonder, well, if I can't tell if I got mixed up here, these dudes are all look-alike, so we know that they don't mean anything. And it's just rough. So this one's actually okay, but this on her hand goes to the one in the gutter. Like, what the heck? So bad. This is just done badly. I don't know whom to blame.
Well, I mean, it's Eric Kennedy does everything, right?
No, I think Weathers lettered it for him.
Yeah, Weathers lettered and Giuliano did colors.
Mhm.
Honestly, I one of the things I love the most about this book is the colors, though.
Yeah.
I think the colors really help it pop off the page, and they provide some of the necessary accompaniment to the noise of the art in the panels, because like a lot of this art, like you're looking at right now, there's a lot of noise.
Oh yes.
But the glares and the flashes and some of the color effects that are added really heighten the experience of the noise and make it feel not like such a cacophony, but more of a more interesting than that.
Well, if I'm going to
Mo
spread,
says
yeah,
Blue is going in on the word balloon placement. I wouldn't want to be Eric Weathers right now.
not just Weathers. I'm going to spread my vitriol to my friend Joe Fulton, because he's the editor on this,
That
and
is
it's like
true. Yes.
between Eric and Joe, either one of them I would have expected better, just better. So, by the way, later in the book, a lot of these pages were just visual noise to me, and there was so many things going on with so much stylistic, because he's very stylish, but there's so much style going on that I got lost at times. So, but that's just me.
Some of these panels I think are really great, but I think part of it, the problem that I have with it is the actual layout, the way that it's being put on the page. Like these individually, these panels are really nice. If you were to cut them off, cut them out and put them to the side, and then rearrange them or enlarge them, and reorder like the way that they're placed. I think it could have done, been a little bit better, but specifically like in this, the way that these are not connected, they have their gutters, right? They have their panel borders, and then you get this beautiful full bleed art across the bottom, but her head is poking into this. For me, that doesn't help at all. That everything here feels like it's blurred into the stuff that's of similar color palette above it. I also don't quite know what the action is here. I see her throwing the discuses, right? And they cut through these guys. And is she then catching them? Is that like how we're reading it? Okay.
They're like boomerangs.
Then give me this as more of a beat panel. And this is more of like, take up this space, use this space. I don't need the offset weird border alignment there.
Again, stop show. It's a lot of these books have a problem of the artist showing off, and it gets a little bit in the way of telling the story. Oh, by the way, back here, I love this submarine. It reminds me of the Hunt for Red October, where they did stuff called shooting dry for wet, which is like shooting smoking up a room and then lighting the room in the smoke and shooting that to make it look like it's underwater.
We're gonna talk about the bubble.
See that leg? See
I kind of managed to skip over it. We're gonna talk about the bubble.
Hi, Amanda B. It is Arc Athena #1. I know that number 2 is out.
Lay into it.
Okay, unless this little thing below her knee, which I don't know if you can see in my lighting. Yeah, if I do it like this, you can see it better. Unless, his camera looks better than mine, so let's make him a little bit bigger. All right, so I'll point, and you can see on his. If that thing below her knee spins, okay. But she's kind of turning a little bit her body, but she's not internally rotating her hip, which looks like it's a simple hinge, to bring her foot and tibia twisted all the way around to where you can see the bottom of her shoe. This is not the magnifying lens effect of being inside a sphere. What the heck was he thinking? Instead of them looking like they're in a sphere, then with this woman up at the top, and it just looks like a giant pyramid sliding at you, and her leg is broken. I'm sorry, that knee, she needs, her knee isn't even built like that, and it looks like a prosthetic in the first place. Why are we looking at the front, like the 3/4 turn frontish of her hip? Really it's the side, but we're a little in front of it, and the bottom of her foot at the same time. This makes no sense. This is where Eric's style is in the way of like when something gouges your eye like that, you're just going, what the heck? But again,
now,
cool submarine. Cool submarine.
I thought cool submarine. I thought he was going for like the fisheye effect, right? I thought he was kind of going for like in a bubble, everything's kind of distorted around the sides. So that would be why in the front, it makes it feel like spherically it's distorted, but he doesn't accomplish anything like that up here.
Nope.
to make it feel like that effect really is fish-eyed. So you have that huge thigh and the real focus on her foot. You can see like that's her heel, right? Like you were saying,
Yeah.
we're looking at her heel, but we're also looking at her knee and her hip. And she's sort of leaned back. But none of these other characters are in any way distorted the way that a fisheye would distort things on the side. And everyone's heads in the middle are the same size and perspective.
Yeah.
So I think this uh golden bubble that they're in, this force field bubble or whatever, didn't
Mhm.
quite work to distinguish itself as some sort of spherical anomaly moving through the water. It just looks like a circle and some really janky figures inside.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sphere in the earlier position, and this just tells me it's going to go over my head, like float above my head from where I would be in the water, and her leg is sticking out towards me, and it's not a sphere anymore. That's all it
We
says.
do get this force field bubble again. Now,
Yeah.
the idea that we wanted was we wanted to establish what's inside the bubble. So when we see
Mhm.
it again, we know to, that we've already seen that.
That's our friends.
And in this, and in this way, like that it's everyone in the bubble is together moving around, right?
Mhm.
Using that sort of similar staging. So but she's not on her knees anymore, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on inside that force field.
Now, by the way, just in case people haven't read this one yet, so what we first saw to connect things up between people in the air, so we have some kind of broadcast through the Arc Company of these mercenary types that are employees of the Arc Company in the air, and it's all being broadcast. And then under the sea, where it's not being broadcast, we have we actually have a second team that's introduced here as aides to the people who are high up in the air. But then there's a third team under the water, a separate team, totally different characters. So one problem I had with this was trying to memorize while hoping I wouldn't fall asleep. How many different entourages of, how many characters am I getting hit with all at once? It was a bit much for me, but this is what's going on is we have two teams attacking some kind of rig. This is the underwater team we just looked at here. So when you see the woman with the forearms and the swords, that's the underwater team. She also, this X in front of, it's in the dialogue that this little X in front of her head is a visual cue that she is using psionic abilities, reading minds and whatnot. We're also introduced to Gristle, and I think his narration in these white boxes is actually pretty good in a sense, because at first it comes across as his thoughts, but then it gets weird, and this should have been handled by Joe, the editor. It starts to sound like he knows he's breaking the fourth wall as his thoughts in the square boxes go on, and that was weird to me. That didn't make much sense. So I was thinking when you mentioned Weathers and then your Joe comment narrowed it. Yeah, I'm going to say that they're holding hands, much like Luke's cover from earlier in the show. You'll have to go back and see that. Blue went full. I'm not
I
angry,
like
just
this guy.
disappointed.
I like the robot guy. That's why I bought this book. I bought it for the robot guy and all the missiles.
Yes. Where are
it's
you?
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Let's see, what page are you on? Because I just jumped us way ahead in the narrative.
I'm one more beyond you, I think.
Okay. Now this is a double page spread where they're attacking monsters in the what would be the underwater part of the rig, where inside the rig there's air. They don't need to be protected anymore. They're two monsters. So
this one.
Yeah. Your turn, man.
Oh, on this page? Do I really need to say anything? I mean, it's a two-page spread, right?
Yeah, it's a two-page spread, and it actually works. No. Wait, it doesn't. This is the one I remember. Who is this character with his head in the gutter?
I have no idea.
I thought this worked and that worked. We had this character named Old Man Strength. Don't ask me why. And this character over here with and then Noise. I see a fuzzy arm. I think this is supposed to be Gristle in there. The guy whose thoughts we were seeing earlier. Why is this information wasted in the,
well, all of this down here is also wasted.
Yeah.
All of this is space in the composition that doesn't really add to the information, the perspective here. Like all of the action is happening from here and over, and this should be providing staging, right?
Mhm.
But we don't even see the foot. Like we see
Right.
the beginning of the heel, so we don't even get to see the toe pushing off the ground to give us the feeling that the weight is shifting into the punch or whatever's happening. This
He's
is
grabbing.
Liefeld syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, life. Oh,
Hide the
Liefeld's
toes if you can't draw them.
Yeah, and it's supposed to give us a diagonal into where he's grabbing the tooth, but instead we lose it here because we
because it's
can't
in the
put
gutter.
yeah.
Yep.
So this is
in the spine.
yeah. This was good. This was good. This is good. What the hell is? So again, reminds me of showing off in a way that ends up accidentally not doing very well.
I thought
Where are we
this was
going
okay.
next?
For the most part, this is okay. Like breaking, so he's doing that clarity thing, right? But then he has these two break the panel borders, which is just an element of intensity, but I don't think it helps here. I don't know why we're really breaking the borders. I mean, we can get that these guys are big without making them tower outside the panel, right?
Try to find the page with the purple lash on
The
it.
very next one after the
there we go.
yeah, right. So yeah, we've got these two panels. We're starting to set up a clarity focused approach to the page layout. Once again, these guys, I don't think they need to be popping out. And by popping out, they overlap with the previous panel, which for me complicates the shape. Mm-hmm. Like at a glance, this is all one shape to me. You know, this is all one shape. It's a good thing that they're different colors, because that helps me differentiate between the two characters. But, if you didn't have the colors, you could call them tangents, right? Like some of the lines almost connect between the two.
Yes.
And that communicates, it's difficult to communicate a separation of thoughts, which is what panels are, right? When the shapes inside those panels that are adjacent to each other seem to connect.
Yes, it's like when you have detail next to detail with no breathing room between them, and then it's in black and white. It's But in this case, it's the same thing on the other side, where I read this panel and I read that panel, and it's dynamic and all that, and I went to the words over here, but because this overlaps her face and that overlaps her face, I just skipped right over her and said, "Wait, who said that?" Oh yeah, with the chick with the teeth, right? She said that. And so I had to come back.
He does that a lot. He does the breaking the panel borders, and it is a dynamic effect. But that's the issue is clarity, intensity, right? Like you need the balance to create readability. I say this all the time just because it's true. If you're going for that dynamic element, you only need really one good dynamic element, and he's already achieved that with the crazy thick black sketchy border to this panel, which has got the violent smashing going on inside of it, right? Like we have the setup, the staging, the monster leaning down, and then the action panel. And then she's screaming and saying enough. And then the monster lunges forward. You don't actually need him popping out. Just move him down like a half an inch.
So we've ripped on this book enough in terms of, so anything else we might say would be just similar and redundant, repetitive.
There's a lot of the art that I think is cool. I gotta say, like in 2001, I think this is one of the books that I liked the art style. Maybe it was the character design that got me, but like the faces, like this face, this hair, the character's appearance, I thought was really solid. It's beautiful. So I gave Canetti a nod as one of my nominations for best artist of 2021.
Good. I liked what he ultimately did, because for me this got really tedious with we have two battles, they're taking a very long time, and I'm running out of pages, and then suddenly something happened between characters during the battle. So finally we got something going on that gives meaning and not just plot events and screaming and violence. Let's do something with the characters, even though I don't know them and I don't care. And this is where you don't have to know all the characters of an ensemble in terms of caring about each one. Gristle I liked because he was level-headed, even though he throws a punch at the end. But what happens if, for people who haven't really read it, what happens is these two are just acting like immature teenagers online showing off for their cameras and whatnot. They rip into this one who's trying to get the military action done and do the mission, accidentally wound their compadre here with the wings on his legs, and they just don't care. I mean, they're completely self-absorbed and whatnot. And then up on top of the rig where our aerial people are, there's a power battle between the star of the show and the military support in saying, get away from these exhaust vents. We need to move either to the pullback position or the forward position or whatever. And for the sake of the show, she's in charge. I mean, it's just a good comment on demonstrating everything that's wrong with ego and hubris in social media today. So people get hurt. Some of the unnamed military support get killed because of it, because of her decisions and other infighting. And then they do finish the mission below, which chases away our evil-toothed woman from below the sea because all of her monsters get defeated. And the book ends with, let's see, after people get hurt.
That page, those 2 pages right there, I'm hovering on them.
Yeah.
I think this is an exquisite example of Canetti's art and layouts. I think these 2 pages right here, if this was the whole comic, I would be thrilled. You got a great explosion by Weathers, right? You have the color palette shift for the other location, right? And you go back to the interior of the oil rig. You get to watch the dude who's on fire in a full body stage, right? Then a close up on his face as he goes up in flames, and then that hand, right? So you're like getting exceedingly tighter in on him as he just, burns to death. You got some great sound effects here as the rig starts to flood with water, right? Once again, you jump to this other remote location where Arc is, talking to them. You got her disappearing beneath the waters. You've got that one beautiful insert panel glare of this dude's eyes really telling the story there. And then they're escaping on the helicopters. And there's like very little dialogue. There's an incredible amount of storytelling here, and very little words are necessary. I thought that this right here, like if Arc Athena was that on every page, I'd be blown away.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm really divided on whether or not I want to continue with the series. I really am. I'm just
I think I got sure. 2. Has he delivered 2? I don't remember.
Yes, he's delivered 2. It's on the Iconic store. So he's
okay. Then I have it, and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, he's doing the crowdfund and then the delivery. Here's the punch at the end because he knows from beneath that she destroyed the mission. They treat her like crap, which is just wrong.
And that's the thing. Like, you've got the one celebrity team who hogs all the glory, and then you've got the other team that actually goes on the missions and just gets stepped on, right?
Yeah. So
it's a cool dynamic.
I like
the characters.
I like what he did with that, and he did it really fast at the end. But visually, this was hard for me to read. And then there's some humor in it that was okay. There's some humor in it that was just not my thing. Let's see, the woman who's psychic, not this one, but the undersea, the woman with 4 arms and the psychic ability.
This one? No, she doesn't have 4 arms.
No. That's the alien enemy queen who's on the moon at the end.
She's
before
hot.
that, where is? Oh, come on, find her before people get too bored. So this one.
Too late. They already tuned out.
Yeah, pretty much. Where she's using her psychic ability. She uses her psychic ability to sexually arouse her opponents in order to distract them. So that
if it gives you the upper hand, right? If it gives you the upper hand.
Yeah, but then they make way too much of a bit of humor about that, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe this isn't really my thing. The direction they took that in. So, okay, well, that's what we got. And he sets up really nicely for the continuation.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Sure.
I wanted to double check what I paid for this.
Did we put everyone to sleep the way the book put me to sleep accidentally?
$34,000 on the second campaign. What was the first one? First one was $55,000, so it dropped off. $55,000 on the first, $34,000 on the second.
Yeah.
744 backers on the first one. what was the tier? That's what I'm looking for. Just the basic tier, right? Just this Arc Athena standard edition, $25. I think that's a pretty good deal considering, you know, the hardcover, the spot gloss, the page count. I mean, it's reasonable. I wouldn't say that it's an exceptional value, right? It's kind of straightforward. And what we expect for crowdfunding these days. If it broke 50 pages, I would be happier. You know, 49 is close enough with the 12-page bonus content and the nice hardcover with the spot gloss and the soft touch lamination. I'm not dissatisfied with the price point. I don't remember how much shipping was though, but like if this book cost $10 to ship, that probably would have made me disappointed. So we had half the backers, or just over half the backers, on the second campaign, and the second book was also $25.
Yeah, these are 25 plus 10, so it would have been 35 shipped. But right now on Iconic, the Iconic Comics website, I think one of these, I think number one might be $30 and number two might be 40, or they might both be 30, and then it's like nice. $8 to ship. So
yeah, people tend to do that. They'll adjust the cover price up and then adjust the shipping down to try and give a comparable deal. But that way the cover price has increased above what they crowdfunded it for. Like, yeah, it's a $40 book. I don't think I would ever buy this for $40 in the store though.
Yeah, and it may be on Iconic right now. It's on sale, but then number two is $40 or something like that. Right. But I don't know. This came out at a time when I couldn't add any more titles. And remember, I got this because of the grab bag for $20 that I got like a bunch of books out of. So I got Long Harbor out of that.
Yeah, I remember.
And the copy of Long Harbor that this came with is going to be my reader copy because the spine is a little bit off. So I'm like, that's it. But yeah. So I don't know if I'd continue with this, or if I'd just wait for like a compilation to come out, or if I might just even skip the compilation. I'm just not sure.
Mobig says, Blue went full. I'm not angry, just disappointed on Eric Weathers and Joe Fulton.
And that's where the chat died like 15 minutes ago. Like we just bored them to death.
Well, I mean, that happens. You'll never, I mean, we're not podcasting, live streaming professionals. You'll never hit the exact right amount of complaint. And neither of us are adorable girls, and neither of us are VTubers. So people aren't going to watch unless we are snappy and entertaining.
What is VTube?
And it's 10:30, right? So it's time to go.
What is VTube before we go?
Oh God, I can't talk about it. I'll get timed out by Mo, and I'm not even in the chat.
Okay, then I will not ask again. I'll just do a search because I know how to use search engines.
Yeah.
This is rough. I could see all the good work he put in here. I just don't know if it's for me. And that's a big distinction I want to make, is you can have something really good that's just not my thing, but this had problems. And I think we might have spent too much time talking about the problems.
I mean, it happens though. Like no one's really going to look at a great book and gush about how great it is and have the audience be satisfied hearing about that. Not in my opinion. You know, like either they've got it, they've read it, they know it's great, or they're sitting there going, God, I want it. Stop it. Stop telling me how great it is. Shut up. You know, you're making me want it. People are much more gravitated towards criticism and whatever. But, you know, I don't know if Eric Canetti needs our opinions. I will say I like his line work. In general, I think his line work is very exciting.
Hey, X Allen, we're about to close, but thanks for coming by. I do know that, and he says hello, chat. I do know that Eric Canetti is actually a really nice guy. We've had a couple conversations like after stream, and a few interactions on Twitter, and that's it. And he's just a really good, genuine guy. So I like seeing panels like you pointed out at the end, where there's clarity in the storytelling, because I had problems with things in here that I think Joe should have caught. I don't want to hammer.
And that's really all I want, right? Like clarity of the storytelling. Like those pages were so well constructed, and the art in the panels did all the work. You don't need to go and, like you were saying, artists being fancy and trying to do complicated or avant-garde panel arrangements. Just give me clarity focused panels with some incredible art inside of them, and you'll have a great, well-told story on your hands.
let's just say any problems were all Joe Fulton's fault. We'll put it that way.
I can't. The man is still ill. He's still missing. And I was talking to him about possibly working with him in the future. And I don't want to completely turn him off to the idea of ever talking to me again.
Well,
So,
I didn't know he was ill. So great. Now I'm
man while he's sick, Blue. How dare you?
I'm picking on the infirmed and the slave labor that everybody gets out of Eric Weathers for doing letters.
Oh man, Eric Weathers is a titan though. Like that guy is amazing. He is so fast. Can I tell you, like having worked with him myself, he is one of the fastest guys that I have ever had the pleasure of working with. I mean, not just with letters, just in general, he is speedy as heck, and he's very accommodating, very nice. He'll make corrections. Yeah, it was great working with him on Mavericks.
Cool. This is a book made by three of the greatest guys around in terms of just regular dudes, really cool, easy to work with. I'm sorry to hear that Joe is sick though, but okay.
No, he's been sick for a while. He'll be fine. He's getting stronger.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming by, everybody. I'm going to close it off. I'm waiting for people to say goodbye and good night because you know how I like end very suddenly.
Yeah. So hail the panel and hail the chat, right? That's what we're going to do.
Hail the chat. Everyone sleep tight.
Push the button.